Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So I'm back here in Train Simulator, and I'm going to go ahead, I think, and continue to run the Alaska route. And we're going to take this second part here. So what this is telling us here is in part 2, we're going to continue the morning assignment, traveling from Girdwood south to Grandview. This segment of the route presents the greatest challenges. The scenario starts with 1,000 points, and you may receive deductions based on your driving skills. So it's up there pretty hard. Not quite sure what I'm going to run into, but we're going to give it a go. Conductor Wayne to our guest. While you are out finishing your coffee, the dispatcher has granted us permission to head south 12 blocks, Kern to Grandview. Along the way, we'll travel through our route's greatest winter challenges. Let's set up and get underway. Alright. So, what I'm going to do, I need to get this going. And then let me just take a peek here. We're just going via. Alright, so I think we can just get moving, because we don't really have a timetable specifically. But if you didn't follow along in the first scenario, we've got a lower 48 executive here with us in Alaska as we're trying to run these routes. And we're just potentially getting some information to them through the conductor, as you saw. Alright, so taking off from here now, there was a little bit of a spur that I was on off to the side from a siding, and then we weren't going super fast. I think we were only able to go 25 once we got onto the main line. We'll see if that changes any. But at this point, we are marked through to MP 74. And the challenge we had last time is, it was simpler. Now this one's a little harder. I'm assuming there's going to be some grade changes and so forth. So we're at a 0.4, but I'm assuming that's the increase. So that was end of something. But we're a half mile from the next portion here. So the the Kern block. Alright, so now we can go 30. So I'll definitely go ahead and speed up, because I don't want to take any longer than I need to take on this. But pretty nice scenery up here in the Alaska wilderness. Looks like we're heading over a little bit of a river there. Just trying to keep an eye on my speed. But the winter challenges thing, I don't know if that means we're going to start hitting some snow. I've never driven in a scenario where there's snow that changes the way the train behaves, but that may be what we start running into. Sorry, kind of was fighting off a sneeze there, so apologize for the weird mid-word stop. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful morning. Rain is not at all unusual along here, though. In fact, I've been told that this area is the world's northernmost rainforest. Alright. So yeah, at least this scenario gives us a bit of entertainment along the way, that way. Alright, so now we've got nearly 9 miles till we get to MP 65. What I don't know is how long we'll have to keep going and what the total distance of this route is. You know, it told us the scenario is about an hour in length. So obviously we're assuming we're going to be at least around there. But we're going to have to slow to 25 at some point in about half a mile there, so just trying to move along as efficiently as possible, but yet obviously be careful to try to avoid losing any points. Now, we haven't climbed any, so I would imagine we're not really going to go downhill yet. But we could have started at a higher elevation and just it's not been clear. So it looks like we're going to go along with the roadway for a little bit here at least. Alright. Just want to start slowing down a bit. So the last thing I need is to be going too quickly. Alright, that should be good there, unless again we're heading downhill in any way, but I don't think we are. But now we are below 25. There we go, we hit that speed block. Obviously a bit of a turn here. I was going to say we were maintaining the speed quite well. I would imagine a lot of the routes here up in Alaska would be cutting alongside rivers like this one is. Alright, we're heading to Grandview. Just don't know. There's no other information that we've got. So this appears to be a little bit of an uphill grade. It's just not slowing us down that much, but it could be because we really don't have any kind of a consist attached and have any kind of length or weight that we're hauling. So just because it's us and the other locomotive, I think it's simple enough. So if we take a look, you can see behind us we've got, you know, another locomotive back there. Alright. Speed up a bit. Alright, and then in a little less than a mile we'll be able to go up to 30 again. But most of the route here seems to be pretty slow, and I guess, oh, I wonder if that's that same white pickup. I doubt it. It looks like traffic's moving significantly faster than we are. So it's probably just another white pickup that already exists. Looks like we flattened out again. Got a 0.0% grade there. But yeah, one of the things as far as trains that I've been trying to do is I've been trying to figure out if there's a way to really do any kind of rail route simulator content on the channel, but it's just requires so much thought. I can't really talk much. I almost think if I do it, I'm going to have to just let it be a video of me playing and with no conversation. Or maybe I do a voiceover over the top. I don't know. But if anyone's interested in that, and anyone has any ideas on what kind of format they'd like to see, because I did try to do something earlier with a map on a timetable map, and I basically abandoned the attempt and came to this to just stick with the rail theme because I wanted to do something with railroads. But the map was so challenging, I was just looking around and not saying anything. And that doesn't really help much unless people understand that's what they're going to be getting. So I may need to do that and then just see what I do there, because that would have been about an hour long as well. So it would have worked fine, but I couldn't do it. But similar, there's not much to share about here because we're just kind of going down the line. there's not a lot more happening than that. Alright, once we get through here, we'll be able to go a little quicker again. But then, of course, we slow down right away. So there's always a bit of a trade-off of just how worth it is it to accelerate to then just have to slow down again. But I can see, I'm thinking that might be part of the challenge of this, is just it's accelerating, slowing down, accelerating, slowing down. So it just requires a lot of paying attention to the details of what we're being asked to do on the route. I'm guessing we're slowly climbing here. I suppose we may be going downhill. It's just, again, because we don't have enough weight, it's not really pulling us that quickly. But I'm not used to, if that is a 0.5% negative grade, I'm not used to not having to keep playing with the brakes. So that's what's throwing me for a little bit of a loop here, where I'm unsure. Alright, so we're not that far away. I think it looks like just about at that turn. And again, because we're a pretty short little train here, I don't want to over apply the brakes and do too much. Alright, there we go. So, looks like just around this turn, then we get to go for about 3/4 of a mile and speed up. So yeah, it might be actually this turn to the left that looks a little bit tighter than the turn I just came around. But yeah, not too terribly challenging yet, other than just keeping track of kind of what we need to do with the throttle. But yeah, looks like we just keep getting these small little turns where it slows us down for a bit till we get through them, and then we can accelerate again for a bit. Alright, so let's move this on up again. Alright, we've got a signal coming up here. I think I'd be able to see it already. Interesting. So if we end up with some sort of penalty because I don't understand some of the signaling or the signage around the route, that could happen. Because there's a little bit of variation, certainly between the US and Europe, but alright, so now we're 0.6. So it's getting a little steeper. Again, I think I can see the little yellow sign just before the track turns again. Alright, so let me slow down. Probably want to apply it a little more aggressively. Whoops. Wrong button. I'll fix that in a bit there. There we go. Alright. So we can go a little quicker here. So yeah, looks like just this inside turn to the right along this hill that we need to be careful with. Good news is then we don't have a quick signal change again. So we'll be able to go up to 30. But yeah, I wonder if then the other connection points on the route or the other checkpoints on the route are closer together. Because certainly, you know, we're not moving along that incredibly fast here. Alright, half. Because, yeah, we've got, what, 10 stops. Alright, I guess we do want to arrive at 10:09. Which would seem like that's more than an hour. So I'm not quite sure why it said 60 minutes, but that is what it told us. But maybe we'll get there significantly earlier. I don't know. Hopefully that won't be a problem running too quickly. Looks like we're flat again. Because I can't imagine that 9:09 suddenly becomes 10:09 because any kind of a time zone change, because I don't think we'll be anywhere near an hour, and well, in 3 miles we know we've got all these other places to go to. So I guess I'll just take it a segment at a time and we'll follow the directions. I'm sure the conductor will give us some more information at some point for our passenger. So we'll hear a little bit more of what's going on there. But yeah, I've definitely been focusing a lot on, train sim, farm sim, and the truck sims. I've introduced, or at least dabbled a little bit in some other things on the channel. If there is an interest that people have in other things, certainly let me know. I'm just a little bit less comfortable with some of the other things like Planet Coaster and Planet Zoo, and so I tend to go to them less often than I do to the things I'm more comfortable with. But certainly if there's an interest for that, maybe I'll make more of a concerted effort to go in that direction. But it's beautiful scenery, but it's certainly kind of the same. It's a lot of pine trees and a lot of curves, but I will say now it looks like we got a pretty good straight run here for a bit. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near the 2.8 miles, but this is probably the longest section of straight track I've had in quite a while. I think at the beginning of the run in the last part, I did some pretty long straight runs, but once we've gotten here into the mountains, that's obviously more challenging, which is kind of what you'd expect on a railroad or just roads in general. So once again, other than the speed changes that happen quite often, I'm not quite sure what other piece of this is in the challenging section. Go ahead and turn the light on. That's always probably a good idea to run with that on so that it gives greater visibility, I would imagine, a little bit to any oncoming trains that were here. Now, obviously on a single line like this, if we have an oncoming train, we've got a different problem. We'll have to keep an eye out also for messages that tell us maybe somewhere that we have to pull over and wait for another passing train. But once again, when these dispatchers set up these timetables with a long single track section like this, trains definitely need to be worked out to just avoid running on this single line block, which obviously we couldn't meet on without then one train having to stop and back up. And that's assuming you could do that fast enough. Whoops, I'm talking and not paying attention here. Better slow myself down. That'll get me good enough. This is exactly how I'll have a problem if I'm not careful. But this is now a pretty good 3/4 mile run at 25. So I'm guessing we're going to have some good tight turns here. Now we're heading away from the road into the trees a bit. Interesting. So yeah, in the real world here, we just went through the time change here in the US. It's one of those that they've been trying for a while to get agreement to stop doing that, and I would wonderfully appreciate that, because it's just, there's not really a great benefit for it, and it's just nice to not have to worry about it and just know the time is the time, and we're just doing what we need to be doing. But for now, our legislature's unable to work very effectively, and so in the past it's been a hard enough thing to get through. I know there's another proposal, but it kind of keeps us on the version of it that I'd prefer not to be on. I'd prefer to be where we are when we set things in the fall and not spring forward in the spring, because that just seems to fit a little bit cleaner if we were going to be in one particular time and not adjust it going forward. But I'm fine with being in either one at this point. I would just prefer the adjustment stop. Alright, back up to 30, and we've only got about a mile till we finally get some new directions, or the next step, I should say. Yeah, I'm pushing it a little bit too much, so let me be careful here. But it looks like a little bit of a clearing here between the mountains. I think we're probably going to head toward something over there. Obviously in front of us we have a mountain range continuing. It's just a matter of where is this really going to send us. It would seem the valley in between those two would be good, but there may be something to the left or the right that we're not seeing. But half a mile, so maybe not much further than around that turn. And then we'll get our next via point, and more importantly, kind of our next segment distance, so that we can monitor that. So, signal ahead. But now we'll be going around the turn. Portage thing is right there. I know. I think that's the next item. So we'll just have to see what it tells us. Portage mainline north, it looks like. Alright, let's speed up a little bit again. Alright, in just a few minutes we'll arrive at Portage. This was a thriving small city before being destroyed in the 1964 Good Friday earthquake. All that remains today are the ruins of a few buildings and the ghost forest of dead tree trunks killed by the saltwater. Today there's a passenger station serving the nature center, and it is the junction of our branch line to Whittier. Alright, so we're getting a little bit of a... oh, we're on a 1% grade here. So let's see. So we are slowing down, so in theory that seems like we were climbing, although we flattened out. So we're going to go via Portage Mainline north. So I guess we're going to have some dead forest that we'll be going through as well shortly. Whoa. Suddenly we started speeding up. Luckily I caught it just in time. Wow. Yep, now we got a downhill, so. Alright. So I do need to be careful here. So I'm gonna keep the brakes. Well, now it looks like we're okay, because we're at 0. Looks like we've got another train waiting over there. Light engine 202 south calling dispatcher. Dispatcher. I am releasing 5 blocks, Girdwood through Portage.
I understand you're releasing 5 blocks, Girdwood through Portage.
Okay. That is correct, light engine 2002 south out.
Dispatcher out. Dispatcher calling. Whittier, tank north. Lead engine 4012. You are authorized to proceed 5 blocks.
Alright. Hopefully you could hear the dispatcher. It's kind of nice in this scenario that they have that. If you can't, hopefully you're able to read. But basically what I think was happening there is that straight line block that we just had, because again the line came in, like that train that was waiting now, we've released everything because we had exclusive run of that. Which makes sense, because obviously, again, there was no place to pass. It was a little bumpy. But yeah, so there was some challenge there, I will tell you that. I was panicking with the brakes and so forth, but hopefully we'll be good. So now we're going via Block Hooligan South. That sounds a little crazy. And then we'll be going via the Spencer Bridge. MP3, a block tunnel. So, quite a bit going on. But I also think we have quite a ways to go. So again, we're kind of here in this valley. Looks like we've got a road up ahead. You can see cars crossing the tracks. Usually things happen pretty quickly as far as them getting warned and so forth. So, I don't know, I'm not seeing anything cross anymore. There's something coming from the left. So hopefully, well, he's moving along at a pretty good clip. I guess we still have to get across this bridge. But, well, he didn't cross, so maybe they are just stopping there. I hope so, because if not, that wouldn't be good. But it looks like a very small siding there. Oh, and then we can go faster. We can go 49 at that point. Wow. It'd be like flying. But I'm definitely going to need to pay attention. But I'm wondering, because it looks like we're going to be pretty close to the mountains there. But I was going to say, I'm wondering how long we're really going to be able to go at that higher pace. Hopefully I won't have any problems. But yeah, I'm thinking we're going to hit that straight on here. Because now we're down to barely over a quarter mile, so I think that's coming before the turn. But yeah, if the time zone doesn't change, I've still got 45 minutes to go at least. Even more than that, because it was like 10:09 or something. Alright, so Block Hooligan South. is coming up. Alright, here we say goodbye to the Seward Highway as it goes right to cling to the coast. Now we head into the beautiful interior of the Kenai Peninsula, accessible only by train or by foot. Well, that's cool. So we'll be seeing some things that normally nobody's seeing. Well, train engineers are seeing it, I guess. They're not nobodies, but it's nice that we're still relatively flat here. But yeah, we gotta go 7.5 miles to Spencer Bridge. Oh boy, how did I... Oh, it gives me no... Wow, it gives me no leeway. It's literally just 49. Like, I mean, I normally can cross it a little bit, so well, I'll have to keep track of that. So, no perfect score. Because obviously when it was going 30, I was able to go over a tiny bit. But obviously that's not the case here. So I'll just have to be careful. Because I certainly slowed down fast enough. I didn't get to 50 or I didn't even get anywhere close to that. That's disappointing. That's part of the challenge sometimes with Train Simulator is, yeah, until you like run the scenario and really know how everything's calibrated, like there's not really a way to understand that that's how that's going to work. Especially since earlier in the scenario I was able to have a little bit of slack and go over. But I need to be careful because we do have a grade now. I can't again tell entirely if it's an up or a down, because we're so small with 2 cars. It looks like it's an up, but that can be a dangerous assumption too. I did it again. I was looking at it and because yeah, I'm just so used to being able to go a little quicker. Wow. And part of it is, I think, because it's 49, where normally it's like an increment of 5. So it'd be like 50. Ugh. Alright. So I just have to be careful. Alright, slow down. 5.5. Because yeah, it was more like, well, we're going uphill. We've got a good grade. I can move along, and I just moved along a little too fast. But this is a really long straight. I will say that. That's for sure. Don't mind it. All right. So now we're not climbing anymore. So. That was the other challenge, is suddenly I was going faster as far as the acceleration, because I stopped going up the 0.7% grade and we're back to 0 for a bit. Now we're 0.3, but we're slowing down, so I'm assuming it's again 0.3 up. We'll see once again if we make this turn, if we then open up into a more continue along a valley, or do the mountains close in around us? Well, it looks like we're going straight for a bit, at least. So, 4.5 miles. Thinking Spencer Bridge is going to be something pretty impressive. Maybe not. But I have a feeling it's not going to disappoint. Alright, we're flat again. Just Trying to remember to not juice it too quickly. Now this looks like I can go straight for quite a while, because the mountains are deceiving, that's for sure, but I don't really see anything other than the mountain in front of me. I would not be surprised if I'm going the entire distance without turning again, but I might not be seeing 4 miles away. Alrighty, just trying to be careful. It's definitely kind of a little bit of a hypnotic sound every once in a while. Ka-dunk, 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 you know. No, I was wrong. We're turning. We didn't even go 2 miles straight, because we're not even going to get to 2.5. We may not even get, we're not going to even get to 3. So, I don't even think we went 1.5 miles. I don't know, maybe we'll get to 3, but it's going to be very close. Yeah, I guess we did. Alright, just trying to be careful again, because this may be headed down. So we're definitely slowing less than we normally did. And now we're 0.7. So a bit of, I think we're still climbing. Alright, we have to be down to 30 at that point, so just need to pay attention to that. Alright, now we're at 1%. Okay, so it's definitely uphill. You can tell with the acceleration impact we've had. Let me speed it up a bit so that I can get up there, but I do need to keep track of that grade, because otherwise that'll come up and bite me. And that would not be good. It looks like it might be flattening out. Could be. My eyes might be fooled. Looks can be deceiving, as they say. Alright, well, we can go faster than this, that's for sure. But I also, again, need to be careful that I have to slow down soon. Alright, so looks like something going off to the side. Pretty nice long siding here. Alright, I think about 1/2 mile away I'm going to start applying the brake. Alright, let's do that. So I've already got my penalty, I don't need any more. And this way I can also slow kind of gradually. Just about where I need to be. Alright. So we'll see. Slowing down a tiny bit. I guess I won't go above 30 given what was happening before, so try to keep everything under that. And we're getting within 1 mile of Spencer Bridge. Alright, so now we're at 30. But once again, going at 25, I don't need to be doing that. Alright, it is still, I think, slowing me down. Alright, well, maybe Spencer Bridge isn't going to be as exciting, although maybe that's what is on top. So it may be a trestle of some sort, not just a flat bridge like the other smaller ones we've had. So I'm thinking, ooh, looks like we got a nice climb, and then we're only going 20. So after the bridge, I guess we're climbing in earnest. Just trying to get a little bit of a different view, because it might be pretty nice to see this. So we'll take this one out here, and so you can see there's the 2002 that they were calling us out on. The bridge ahead carries us over the Spencer Glacier's outflow. We've been traveling up its glacial valley since leaving Portage. Glacier is off to our left as it continues to recede from view. All right. So I'll just trying to keep. So there it is. You can see the big white area there. Pretty nice. Don't see a whole lot of those in the lower 48. Alright, 1.8, 2.3. Alright, this is, yes, I've not really driven any mountain routes, so this is for sure something new. Alright, at 13 it looks like I can keep it up, so let me slow down a bit. We'll get closer, and then I'll back off, but 20 and then 15 is pretty rough. Alright. Just to be sure, get ourselves down there. There we go. But 2.3. This might just be because of the turn. So there we go. And then well, we go to 15 and then we stay at 15, so. But yeah, there's not really anything between 13 and 0, so. Yeah, we're only going half a mile to that checkpoint. But wondering how long we'll have to stick at 15, but that's pretty long. Or pretty slow for a long time is kind of what I mean. There is where we need to be, 15. And we are 15. But yeah, it's still climbing at a... Alright, well, I'm able to be over a little bit. I didn't get clobbered right away, because yeah, this definitely, I can see now, will be the challenging part, because it's just kind of goosing the throttle the whole time and trying to avoid slowing down a lot, but it's just a few seconds, really, maybe 5-10 seconds each time to up the throttle, and that's it. 2.1, so we're flattening out a bit, but not that much. All right. Wow. Yeah, this is challenging. In the days of steam, in order to climb out of this valley, The ARR had a double loop trestle starting about here. In 1951, $1 million was spent to relocate the line through a series of tunnels, ending with a trestle over a steep canyon formed by the outwash from another arm of Spencer Glacier. This relocation was only possible. Oh, sorry. Didn't get through it. But probably was only possible because of the more powerful locomotives, I would think. But here comes a tunnel. So block tunnel north, 1.6 miles. I don't know if that's this tunnel, and then, you know, it's just the other end of it. So maybe this is like a 1.5 mile long tunnel. Good, I have my lights on. We're clearly climbing the whole way. You can see what it looks like on the indicator across the screen there. But it looks like this 2.1% grade is kind of where it sits. No, we're coming out into daylight already, so I guess the tunnel's not that long. But yeah, so maybe that's the other end, like it is kind of the tunnel for the block when we get to the other side. Well, there's another one right there. But definitely what I'd expect here in the mountains, so pretty nice. But yeah, I do have some other maps and stuff, definitely several other mountainous areas. So a lot of the train simulator that I would do is going to be on these. I have some kind of more of the Great Plains runs, a few cities here and there, but so wow. But yeah, a lot of tunnels here. But I'm sure it saves a lot of time too. Oh, now we're up to 2.2. But yes, just the need to go up and down with the throttle. This is certainly a challenging thing. Alright, we get a little bit of daylight, kind of a good batch here. 0.1, 0.2 miles, and then back underground for not sure how long. Looks like it might be a bit, but it could be deceiving because we could turn and go a completely different way than we're thinking. Alright, about a mile till Block Tunnel North. Let's see. Alright, we're getting close, because I think there were only 10 steps, and we're on step 8. We'll be at step 9 when we get to the block tunnel. Or get past the block tunnel, and then we gotta go via MP49. Whatever that is. Alright, well, there's the other end of the tunnel we can see. It looks like another very quick opening. So we leave one tunnel, immediately go into the other, just a few hundred feet. Alright. Oh wow. Some sort of runoff or something, I'm not sure. We got a little bridge there though. And we're staying at about that 2.1, 2.2% grade. Alright, another bit of a bridge. said, a bit of the runoff. Still climbing though. Looks like maybe it's getting a little bit less. Just hard to tell, that's for sure. But yeah, I think we flatten out up here at the block tunnel space. Just thinking it'd be pretty challenging to be pulling something through here, but obviously that's what happens most of the time. We just happen to be moving these locomotives empty. But I imagine there's going to be some scenarios once we get through all 4 parts of this eventually. Then we probably have to come through here loaded. But I'm sure their thought was, you know, you'll have learned or at least experienced the route once if you do things that way. Alright. We are getting close to whatever the next segment will be. But I think we still have half an hour to go. Oh. Alright, but the grade is dropping just at 1.6. Almost there. Quarter mile at this speed takes a bit of time. All right. I assume just around this turn somewhere. Oh, now we're back to 2.3. So maybe we aren't slowing down. Wow, we're at 2.9 now. No, but now 1.7. So it's just a very quick, steep portion. Not sure if that's a dumpster or what I'm seeing there. I think it is. Alright, we're coming up on the tunnel section house. It's staffed year-round. An assignment here in the winter can be an extremely difficult assignment. Clearing snow, preventing avalanches, and dealing with ice buildup. I understand that in other seasons you can find the guys panning for gold on their off hours. Well, that's cute. Alright, but we're still 15, but we're only going 3/4 of a mile. 49, and then we stop at Block Tunnel South at 109, so I assume after the next one we've got a good length if we've got to get there at 10:09, or again, we're going to be able to get there really early. Alright, now we're starting to flatten out. It does look like we'll be climbing shortly again. So I'm thinking we're going along the edge here, curving back a bit. Now you can see it a little cleaner. But I'm also imagining the trains go this slow up here simply because you don't want to deal with a derailment anywhere, but obviously it's a lot more challenging if, as they said, you can only access this area by train or by foot. It's not like there's a lot of roads or anything, so I think they just go extremely slowly so that they can pretty much guarantee a safe passage through here. There's been a good amount of derailments that have made the news lately. So just something to keep in mind, and makes it a little more front and center in my head, just because we've been hearing about it. There's one local to our state here. It was pretty bad. Not sure, people are being told they can come back, but there was definitely some toxic substances involved with that, so people are, as you might expect, nervous. We're not anywhere near that, but can certainly understand it. All right. But 2.9. This is a good grade, that's for sure. Goodness, it just drops down so fast. But it doesn't look like we're stopping a climb anytime soon. I'm really not looking forward to going down the other side. I assume we'll be doing that, but it's possible this line doesn't go that far. I don't know. This is the area of the old second loop trestle. Here it has been replaced by the snake-like curves ahead. The gradient here can even be a challenge for our modern diesel fleet. Alright, so I'm assuming we're gonna keep staying pretty high. I'm just gonna let that go away on its own. Unless it doesn't. There we go. Alright, but we've got 3 miles. Again, it looks like we might get there 10 minutes early. I don't know if it's then going to make us wait, but it's not going to hurt to get there early. It'll release the line for other traffic sooner rather than later. But like I said, yeah, I just would be curious. I'm sure there will be opportunities to haul stuff through here. The one thing I haven't done is just, try to run on my own without a scenario of some sort. I'm assuming I can just, build trains together, creates whatever consist I want, and head out kind of in a sandbox type thing, or just free roam type. The word is slipping my mind. Free roam scenario, I guess, would work, but game mode, that's what I'm thinking of. Alright. Still climbing. Looks like the time's dropping down pretty quickly as we go, so we might get there really early. I doubt it'll be super early, but actually no, it's going up.
Dispatcher to southbound light engine 2002. You are directed to take the siding and hold at Grandview siding passenger platform.
Alright, so I guess we're gonna have to wait somewhere.
Dispatcher out.
So we have to take the siding and hold at the Grandview siding passenger platform, but that seems like once we finally get to our final destination, but I'm not sure. I mean, we're under 3.5 miles out. There's probably very little between here and there, so it's not like he can't give us information ahead of time. Because I think Grandview is where we're ending up, so I imagine we're not passing that early. But yeah, these are some sharp turns up here. Can't even really see the rail. We're turning so sharply. But train knows where it needs to go. That's the most important thing, so. But no, I was actually losing time. It was taking longer. I don't know what I was seeing when I thought I was gaining a lot of time quickly. That was not the case. And now it's stabilized, but again, we're at over 957, so but either way, we're kind of holding steady at least. But I'm imagining we're not speeding up a whole lot for the next 3 miles, so I think we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, and it's going to take us a little bit to get there. But it's interesting, like we can keep climbing with this steep grade, but we're getting penalized, that's for sure, for going down or slowing down. So now it's like, are we headed toward the glacier? I don't understand what I'm even looking at. We're literally like looping. No, I guess now we are coming in that direction, so I guess we'll see when we turn to the right what it looks like. But I guess there probably wouldn't be a lot of other places to go. You're trying to stay in the low areas as much as possible, so we may go right next to it, which is interesting. Definitely heading toward snow, if nothing else, so. Well, maybe. Alright, maybe we won't go into that. Looks like we're not going into that valley, but that's where the runoff's coming from. But yeah, we're a lot closer to that glacier than we were when we were first told about it, and we're looking at it. But yeah, now we're at a 3% grade. But we're still able to accelerate with our slowest setting on the throttle. Alright, the good news is we get to go 25 soon. And hey, from 15 to 25, that is a heck of an increase, so I'll take it. Yeah, I'm sure this is hard enough to run this track, but sometimes I wonder why they don't do like 2 directions so that trains can just pass each other, but obviously it's double the cost and so forth, so I'm sure some of it is how much would it really get used. Where right now they can just hold people and let them go when it's time to go. But yeah, we're clearly not going anywhere near that glacier. I think now we're going to go around this mountain here. Go around the other side. Alright, coming up on a 1/4 mile till we get on the super speedway. But, you know, almost doubling our speed. It's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, it's a over 60% improvement. Doesn't look like the grade's getting any different, though. Alright, well, now we're like swinging back, though, the way we came, so who knows? I certainly don't. Alright, so here's a little bit of a tiny trestle from probably another piece of runoff. we are. So I should be able to, well, let's not push it. Now I should be okay. But I'll definitely take advantage of the faster speed. Be foolish not to, honestly. So that would take far, far too long otherwise. But at this higher speed, we're accelerating more slowly, which is good. Much more slowly, which is great, because then I can kind of just leave the throttle up and I don't have to keep nursing it. But I do need to keep up because I think very quickly it could just transition to a lower grade and then I'll suddenly start flying forward. Definitely don't want to be doing that. But under 2 miles, although I think we've got a little bit more potentially after that. I don't know. So I was kind of reading it as we'd be getting there early, but I don't know that that's actually true. Although no, that is a stop point. And then we have to go on the siding, so we'll have to wait. I'm thinking it might have us wait that whole time. I don't know. Well, now we're down to a 2% grade, so obviously our acceleration is faster. But pretty nice up here. Very pleasant run. Definitely enjoying it. Hopefully you are as well. Thanks for sticking around and just tagging along for this run. Nothing too terribly eventful. I've been a good engineer, thank goodness. A little, what, 20, 27, 28 performance hit, but that's not too bad. Hopefully we'll stay at that point and not get any further. Alright, down to a mile until we need to stop. But only a 1% grade, and it looks like Block Tunnel S is up in the air. It's still on an incline. Definitely having to play with the throttle a lot more than I was before. Got a little bit more of a grade, 2.1% again. So the good news is then at least I can once again stay on the throttle longer, which I think shortens our time because I'm moving at a more steady pace rather than kind of a little bit jerky. Down to 1.8, so the grade is shallowing out again. I would assume the stop is, well, I guess that would be a bad assumption that it's on the same location, but looks like we crest and then go down. So we'll have to see how that all works out. And again, that can be a bit of a challenge, so I'll have to watch that. Doesn't seem like we'd have a tunnel up here at the top. Oh, no, I guess we weren't going down. Just flattening out. For a moment there visually, though, it definitely did look like I was starting to go down. Maybe I was, but because I was slowing down more, I don't know, or because I'm closer. It's zoomed in, so it spreads that out a bit. I'm not sure. Alright. So I need to stop here, so I do need to pay attention to that. Alright, let's see. What is going on? Am I still, like, going? I guess I was. Alright. Let me speed up a bit. Let's see. I just need to get closer because it's not giving me any of that credit. Because I would think it would let me stop. But yeah, at least now I know I need to hit that. Kind of hit the brake a lot harder. There we go. Alright, well, I'm gonna like really put the brake on. So yeah, I think it might, the way that clock is not moving, it may make me sit here until 10:09 or something, I don't know. Oh, no, it gave me a timeliness bonus. Alright, so I will... Alright. Let's go ahead, because now it's telling us we can go forward on the siding. Come on, did I... I hate that. There we go. Because I think because I mistakenly hit the emergency brake. You know what? Let me look at this. Because I am worried that the... Yeah, it's not switched. There we go. We need to be on the Grandview siding north. So we have to manually change that. Alright. So now we should be able to go. I just need to be careful because it might be, I guess it's 15. So that's okay. But we'll get ourselves parked. The nice thing is, because of the timeliness, I got all my points back. So that's a pleasant surprise. Not anything I expected, that's for sure. Alright. And we'll do that. And now it should run across, and that should be it. So I'm gonna get a perfect score on this, I think. So I guess I ran pretty well, even though I made a couple mistakes in the space that really didn't give me any movement in the 49 area. Alright, this concludes part 2. The journey continues in part 3. So yeah, there we go. So we got speeding, but we got a timeliness bonus that basically took us all the way back up, so I got my full 1,000 points. So hope you've enjoyed that run, and at some point I'll continue on because I may be switching back and forth on different tracks or whatever. Whenever I do train simulator content, I kind of take a look at things and just see where I feel like running. But so I can't guarantee when things will continue, but they will continue at some point. Hopefully, if you've liked these videos, please, if you haven't already, hit the button. Go ahead and please click the like button. That helps sharing out in the YouTube space, and subscribing would be great. More subscribers gets the channel more visibility, and then that will be more folks coming to join in and participate in what we're doing here. And who knows what it'll lead to. Definitely more participation options and so forth. I'd love to have things where I'm soliciting feedback from the community, but when I've tried that with the size of the channel as it is right now, I really usually don't get answers in time or don't get any at all. So, but in any event, thanks for tagging along, and that's all I've got for you. I'll see you next time.